Well, welcome everybody to my COVID-19 studio here on Broome Street and Crosby in Soho, New York. I guess I'd like to talk a little bit about how I'm working here at this makeshift studio, which is basically a room that my wife Barbara Probst usually uses as an office, and I'm now using it to paint in. Barbara has generously moved over to the dining table in the dining room, and I'm here in order to gain access to ventilation for the fumes from the paintings. Well, you can see these are all unfinished. I can give you a couple of images that are sort of models, that are studies for these small paintings. Okay, so this one here will eventually become this, although the colors will be slightly different, and this will have an orange color background. But the two figure forms are going to be very similar. This is a study for the painting that is below it, which of course is in process now. And this painting has this as a study, but this study is incomplete, and this study is a variation for the image below it, because it has two upright bars descending instead of just one in the painting that'll be the finished image. So it's in process. The background color will probably be lavender, like in the painting below. Although I'm pointing to the fact that there are certain ideal conditions in this moment for an artist. I think everybody has to remember that really, or I certainly have to remember that I'm essentially in a very privileged position. I'm a relatively successful artist, and I can afford to be removed, not be working at the moment, and to just take this time. But unfortunately, the shutdown is very selective in a way, because there are many people who really need to work very regularly. So it's a very, I'm just saying that I'm really very concerned about how that will work out. Many people, when conversing with me in email or sometimes on the phone, when they refer to the shutdown, they often use the word surreal. And I think that something that could be an interesting model for this moment is the dream. To me, this moment in time is really like a dream. On some ways, it's a beautiful dream, and in some ways, it's a horrible nightmare. In what sense it's beautiful kind of refers to some photographs that I took of the Soho area. When you look at them, you'll see that the streets are completely empty. It's barren, and it's sort of like Soho erased 40% of its history and is back to the way it was at the end of the 70s, maybe around 1980. Whichever people were actually resident here were mostly artists, and all the other lofts were mostly really light industrial spaces. And in the daytime, there was kind of a lot of laborers working here, but at night and on weekends, it was completely barren. And being here now is like erasing time, and also erasing all of the crowding, the noise, the shoppers that are here. To me, it's like an empty city, an ideal city, a city that exists for its own ideal self, for what it is as a structure without people. It's a little like maybe Chirico's metaphysical cities in his metaphysical paintings. But it's also a Platonic city. And as such, it's quite beautiful. The structures of the buildings are beautiful. And my wife and I often walk around here, and we really love what it gives us to be here now with so much quiet and so much peace. So that's really wonderful. On the other hand, it's a very dark moment. When I say it's dreamlike, I mean sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I have nightmares about people walking around wearing masks, um, social distancing, which I find is very disturbing because it's extremely alienating, and all the other things that go with this moment. So and you know and what I'm really concerned about is that eventually we retrieve the life that we had before. People talk about returning to the new normal. I don't think that that's a very attractive idea because I don't think that anything based on this model will be a satisfactory way for people to live. So I hope we can get past this and go back to shaking hands, embracing friends, and all the other things that bring people close together.